Brother Bry, you did a beautiful thing this morning. You sent us a chart which outlined our over-under picks for the year. Team total over-under, team total wins over-under, and it's beautiful. It's like Christmas. It really is like Christmas because it's green and red and mostly green. I'm going to hang this shit up on my refrigerator. I swear to God I am. I'm going to go over our over-unders. Wow, this is great. So AFC East, I picked 3 out of 4. And you could pick on FanDuel exactly how many wins a team would have. I had Buffalo, 11 wins, 5-1. Brother Bry, you had 3 out of 4 as well. And Parlay Kid, you had 3 out of 4 as well. So Buffalo, what did they do? The Bills went over, right?
No, the Bills pushed.
Oh, I thought they were 10.5. Okay, they were 11.
They were at 11. So that's how you hit the 5-1 because you had them exactly.
This is fun. This is like craps with the over/under games.
Yeah,
and then so New England was over 9.5. That went over, right? They were 10.
Yes, sir.
Or 9.5 or 10. Miami, I went under 9.5. I guess it depends when you got them, right?
Yeah, it all depends. When we gave it out, though, we all had under 9.5. It ended at 9.
Yeah.
A lot of these were close, too. Geez, they were kind of right on these numbers with a bunch of them.
And the Jets was my worst pick. I said they'd have 6 wins, and they had 4. Oh, that's not too terrible, but I can't even believe they ended up with 4. But what do we want to say about this AFC East for next year? Yeah, New England seemed to be the most talked about of all of them, Parlay Kid, right? Because 9.5, all right, you think they're going to make the playoffs? 10 and 7's the way to go, or bet them to make the playoffs.
Yep.
I remember the discussion, but yeah, very happy with my Bills pick. I don't know how it translates in the playoffs.
Nice.
In the AFC North, I went 3 out of 4. My loser was Cleveland. I went under Baltimore 11, over Pittsburgh 8.5, over Cincinnati 6.5. Wow, that Cincinnati number looks glaring right now. We all had. Brian, you had under, right?
I had the under. I was way off. I know Harry. Harry loved the over. Harry did a good job.
Such a tough division there, right, Harry? I mean, none of the quarterbacks. Only Burrow made it
only
really.
Burrow and everyone. Yeah. It's every game against each other is 19-16. It's just insane.
Right.
Yep.
And then in the South, there were 2 pushes: Indianapolis 9 and Houston 4. But I picked 4 exactly for Houston. I get 5-1 odds there. Jacksonville, we all had under except Bry had over.
Oh, I was bad.
Right? They're like pushes all over the place. Parlay Kid, you went 3 out of 4 at 3-0-1. Right? And that
3-0-1, and I had the exact Colts 9 wins.
See?
At plus 500.
Oh, think about how much you had been rooting for the Jaguars. Had you remembered, you had exactly 9 for the Colts.
You know what? That's a good point. I mean, that's certainly a good point.
We forget about these. All right, I swept the board in the West. I said Kansas City under.
Very nice.
Chargers under. Vegas over. Denver under 8.5. Denver was sketchy for a while. Bri, you went 3 out of 4 in your own division. You only got Kansas City wrong, right?
Yeah, Kansas City. That Bengals game. That's what cost them.
This was Oh, this is fucking funny now that I look at this. NFC East, Harry went 0-4. And of course, 3 of them were his favorite teams. I mean, you would think he'd know 75% of divisions made up of his favorite teams, but he can't get it right. I went 3 out of 4. I went over on the Cowboys. I lost on the under Philly 6.5, under 8.5. I won on the Washington and under 7 for the Giants. Yeah, Parlay Kid, it's weird just to be able to take the unders on some of these teams, Washington and the Giants. I don't know what kind of number they're going to have to throw at me for the Giants next year for me to go over.
Well, I mean, the number 7, I was gullible enough to go over on the 7 for the Giants. I thought Joe Judge was making some progress with that team, and obviously that did not pan out.
Spaghetti, jump on here because I think we missed you Monday with this Joe Judge thing, and Gettleman hilariously steps down. Gettleman was fired, right? This is just stupid to say he stepped down. But what do you? I know it's miserable to talk about it because it doesn't seem like they're going to pick up and turn things around next year. But what are your thoughts on this team?
Well, for one, the Gettleman, like the exit. I mean, Jerry Reese won 2 Super Bowls, had a winning record, was fired mid-season. David Gettleman is miserable and was like inviting friends and family on the sidelines pregame, taking pictures and like high-fiving, hugging, and like let him leave gracefully because he's one of the guys in the boys club. And frankly, I'm just sick of it. I know that Judge right now they're saying they're waiting for GMs to come in, see what the GMs say. They want to retain Judge or not. I mean, fingers crossed. I think every Giants fan fingers and toes crossed that he's gone, right? But there's still a chance that he's there. And the fact that Joe Judge is asking for a role in naming the GM is just like, I don't know what planet this guy's on.
Shouldn't he own some of the team? I think he should get some equity.
I mean, at this point, why not? It's another example of, the Belichick tree really not coming to fruition, not really being great coaches. And he's a guy that everyone bought into from what the stuff that he says in his press conferences. But he just doesn't have it as a coach. You can see his in-game manager's not good and they need to just move on. I know they want to be a franchise that fires coaches constantly. They want to be like the Steelers, but you're not the Steelers. You don't have 3 coaches since 1969. Like, fire him, clean house, move on, and then get back into the mix in the NFC East because the fans hate you. There was $6 tickets versus Washington. It's ridiculous.
I said that to Brad, our friend Mad Brad. I'm like, wow, Eddie Spaghetti's saying that MetLife is $6 tickets. He's like, $6? Like, too much. He still wouldn't go. I mean, what's parking there at MetLife? 75?
Yeah, it has to be, right? Yeah, exactly.
Imagine paying $75 for parking. You can get like 15 tickets. But. Yeah. That's insane. Parlay, well, let's talk about the coaching thing now. It's interesting because Joe Judge comes on and they definitely played hard for him. They definitely did the first, how long? Year? 14 out of the 17 game, whatever it was. I don't know what it was.
Right.
They played hard for him. What's the secret here? Like, I don't know. The Joe Judge situation is different from the others. You see the other coaching situations, and it's so funny. It's going around now, the internet. Well, a lot of coaches are saying, if I could do it all over again, I'd be a GM and not a coach. Because you see it with Flores, like, is this really my fault with all these dumb trades and everything? Like, he's out of a job, but the GM stays. But then there was more to that. But which job do you want the most, Parlay Kid? Or is it even worth it anymore? Minnesota, Jacksonville, Chicago, Miami. Who am I missing? Anybody else? Those are the 4?
Denver.
So that's 5. Right.
Well, I think, Sal, if you're saying my dream destination would be none of those destinations, but if I have to pick between those 5, I think it's a pretty simple pick for me. I'd have to roll with Jacksonville. Denver, the quarterback situation is not good. Chicago, I don't know. They just, I just don't know how many really free agents you could get into Chicago right now. I don't know if I'd take that.
Chicago can't get the right quarterback ever.
They can't. Minnesota, if I'd have to be stuck with Cousins, I'm not sure if I'd want to go there, even though there's some talent around him. Miami, I don't like Tua. I'm not a Tua guy. I think Flores did an amazing job in Miami with Tua, 8-4 with him this year. So Jacksonville, I think, especially seeing the way they finished up, they have a good young, for potentially very good defense on their hands, and they got a quarterback who finally, at least in the last game of the season, maybe when the pressure was finally off and he was playing free and easy, showed you what he could be, and he could be a long-term number 1. That's where I would go. Jacksonville would be the easy choice out of the openings right now. And guess what? There is nowhere but up for that team, right? So that's a great situation for a coach to go into. I think there'll be people lining up for that job.
Well, I'm taking everything into account. Jacksonville's kind of a dump. I'm sorry for anyone who has lived there or is stuck there. But also you get to go to London. I mean, right? They play like 3 games in London a year. But interesting. Yeah. If you want a quarterback or the promise of having a good quarterback, and if you don't believe in Fields, then that's probably your best bet. Go ahead, Harry. I know you have comments on this. You're going back to Minnesota?
I think Minnesota is a lucrative job. I mean, 8 of their 9 losses this past season, 8 points or less. And the one time is when they lost to Green Bay without Cousins playing. Cousins is there. He put up great stats. You got Cook. You got Jefferson.
Listen to this.
Daniil Hunter and Everson Griffin, great defensive players. It's just they couldn't stay healthy, which they need to do in this terms of the defense isn't the greatest at Minnesota, but their offense is really good. I think the Vikings is the way to go. Just got to get a coach in. Zimmer just couldn't get over the top. Just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
get somebody in there who
my
can.
argument to that would be like, right, these guys all put up good numbers, and you're still losing football games.
Right,
there.
sure.
Like what? So what else can those guys do in order to win. I mean, I think they've reached their limit.
But
That's
Darren,
what they are.
Darren, like you've heard it in Cincinnati when he was the coordinator with the Bengals, and then went to and then Minnesota. Rubs a lot of players the wrong way. Zimmer does, in terms of and now he's gone. What can you just got to get a guy in there?
I think Zimmer could be the next defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, I know that's your dream job, right? You just want to wait for the Mike McCarthy coronary, and take over for the Cowboys, right? But right now, there's only the five job. I think you have to know if Aaron Rodgers is coming back, because one of those Bears or Vikings is the job. I think if you know Aaron Rodgers is going to another division, right? For God's sakes, you're as good to. What do you say, Brian? You want the Raiders job? You still think that should be an opening?
well, I think like Parlay Kid was saying with like Denver, I especially think it's tough to be in the AFC West. I mean, you don't want to be a coach in the AFC West, right? It's hard enough. You're going to have Mahomes and Herbert, regardless of what happens with the Chargers. You have those two quarterbacks in that conference for the next 12 plus years. So I think that's too hard. So yeah, I don't know. I would potentially think about the Bears if you like Fields and I like him. And in that market, I think that could be a fun job. Yeah, like you said, Jacksonville is ideal with the caveat that it's Jacksonville. As long as you're okay living in Jacksonville.
That's the thing. All right, yeah.
You want to live in Minnesota in the winters?
I would say Miami. That's why I say Miami. But yeah.
Well, Darren, if I told you
Miami, I like. Yeah, Miami's good.
Darren, if I told you Cousins plus 26 touchdown to interception ratio, Cook and Jefferson combined 3,000 yards.
Cousins is probably gone.
Would you say they
probably has one more year?
Would you have said they made the playoffs this year?
But that's my point. They're putting up these numbers and they're not making the playoffs. Yeah. So if they're not making the playoffs with that,
then it's your fault, Harry.
Like Cousins is nowhere but down for Cousins. He's not getting better than that.
It actually might be Harry's fault anyway, even without having the coaching job. He talked them up so much. He talked the Vikings up, and then he left them, kind of abandoned them last week. I don't know what he did last week, but yeah. All right, back to bragging. What was that? Was that that was the NFC East. All right, the NFC North is where I shit the bed here, and you guys all did great. You guys went Parlay Kid and Harry, you both went 3 for 4. Brother Bry went 4 for 4. I went 1 for 4 in the NFC North. I took under for Green Bay wins. I took over for Minnesota wins. I took over for Bears wins. That didn't win. And I took under for the Lions, that one. But Bry, you had some pluses next to yours, right?
Yeah, I agree. Green Bay, they were giving out those like regular season win bands. I wish I still had what some of those look like. But yeah, Green Bay 12 to 17 wins was plus 170, and then Detroit under 3.5 was plus 200. So
yeah, nice. That was good. And then we had a push with the NFC South with New Orleans 9, right? They had exactly 9. And Bri, you hit that at 6-1.
I hit that at 6-1. Yeah, so that division I got all 4 right, and that 4-4. So 8-0 between those two with 3+ monies in there. So that was a nice stretch.
So Tampa ended up over. Was it 11.5? Yeah.
Yep.
Saints, as I said, pushed. Atlanta. What the hell? Well, I took them over. I don't remember that at all. Jesus Christ. And they had a shot too. They actually had a shot the last week.
I was like, to fill out this thing, I was going back and I was like quickly listening to all the podcasts. And that was the one where Parlay Kid just ripped you and Harry for going over.
I know. And then after the very first week, it would look even worse. And then I had under for Carolina that lost.
Yeah,
That's some weird division.
Can't get over that.
I can't ever pick that division. I can't. But Brian,
thanks for over yards too on Ryan too, Sal.
You know, I had I know. This is awful. Harry, I went 3 for 4 in the West, though. Over 10.5 for the Rams, under 10.5 for San Francisco, under 10 for Seattle. This was the only one with 4 double digits. I think Arizona was I think they were 10 at one point, but what do we have them at? Oh no, I'm sorry. They were the only one that wasn't 10. There were 3 teams with 10, they were 8.5. I went under and I lost. Harry, you went 3 for 4 in this. You missed on San Francisco.
I think. Right? No, I screwed that up.
Oh, you did. Oh, Darren went. Okay,
Parlay Kid went 3 for 4. 3 for 4. Okay. Harry went 2 and 2. Harry was all ready to take credit for it.
Yeah. Good. So
you gotta wait to see if he takes credit, bro.
Overall, Sal, listen to this. This is so impressive. You go 20, 10, and 2.
Woo!
With a cup with 2
plus 500s in there.
Right. Right.
I go 19, 10, and 3 with 1 plus 500.
Look at that.
Harry goes 14, 14, and 4. I mean, but all right. I mean,
That's good, Harry.
But wait till the next segment. Wait till the next
Right?
segment.
No, we're going to
And-
skip
and
that segment. Yeah.
And Brian goes 19, 10, and 3
Beautiful.
with plus almost 1,000.
Now we all
With
have
two-
different
with two big ones.
ties and
Three
everything
big
because we
ones.
picked. Some of us picked like exactly. Yeah, we did. That's great. Very good. Good job by us, man.
My
Look,
goodness,
add a
it's
round of
fantastic.
applause here, Mikey Meatballs, to the audio part of this. But yeah, Brian. I know in real life I took that band. I took the Niners to win between 9 and 12. I don't know. I think
That's a good one. I will say, if you go back and you listen, like it's a little hard to tell because I think you give some of the wins at towards the end of it, but like I swear you gave out, besides the one you gave out here or two that you gave out, I think you hit like 5 or 6 other ones when you're just like, 4 wins for this team, 10 wins. You were
Oh, I think
really on top.
I know
of it.
I did because I'm looking at my futures payout and it saved me from all these miserable money line parlays. I'm still way in the red, so it doesn't matter. But it's good to brag. Yeah, I had that Green Bay 12-17. I had the Niners 9-11. I had the Raiders to make the playoffs. Texans and Lions both under 4.5. I had to sweat that with the Texans the last few weeks, but that was my big one. That was a big FanDuel one. I'd lost a bunch too for sure. Like I said, Steelers to not make the playoffs, but I have to say, just with the running backs, if you go under their total, who went over, Parlay Kid? Now we figured out there were only 7 1,000-yard rushers all year, right? And so,
right. Well, we know Taylor went over.
Yeah. So out of the 7, Cook didn't go over.
No.
Right. And Henry didn't get to 1,000, right? But he didn't go over. Henry was weird because he was 500 less than his total. Like he had 2,000 yards last year. He was like 1,550, 1,590 or something. This year, of course, if he plays fully, he goes over. But he didn't. He ended up with 937.
Mixon must have went over, right? Mixon is 1205.
Mixon probably went over, but like
Najee Harris.
Yeah, but Harris went over. Elliott barely got over 1,000. He went under, right? Mm-hmm. I'm looking just at the 1,000-yard rushers. I guess Chubb went over, right? He had 1,259.
It's hard to believe. I can't believe he had such I know that many yards.
Yeah.
It just, he only had 228 carries, Chubb.
Right.
And 1,259 yards. My guess is Antonio Gibson went over at 1037.
Yeah. So
he was close. Yeah, I think he was around 1,000.
Right. You said Eckler went over by a yard. He had 911.
Eckler went over. No, Eckler went over by like 50 something yards. I think he was 845. And maybe Damian Harris probably. Did he go over?
If there was a number, he probably
so I'm looking at starting. I don't think he counted as a start. If you counted like 32 starters. So Dalvin Cook went under. Elliott went under. Henry went under. Kamara's under. Singletary under. Jacobs under. Montgomery under. Fournette under. Aaron Jones definitely under. James Robinson definitely under. Right? I'm looking for starters here. Mike Davis was a starter. He went under, right? Is it Mike Davis?
Miles Sanders under.
Sanders under. DeAndre Swift under.
Harry's boy Carson under on Seattle.
Yep, Carson. Yeah, Chris Carson. Saquon obviously under.
Wow,
it's the greatest. It's the great. I mean, it's not fun to root for, but and McCaffrey, of course. I'm not gonna. But I'm just. Who else? Jordan Howard. No, Carrot. He didn't start. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Deebo Samuel's in the backfield. That's what it goes. All right, Harry, you want to brag about your props real quick? Then we'll get to something substantial. But go ahead, Harry. What did you do in your props?
We went
7-1.
Went 7-1 in player props for the season. One of them happened to be Cousins over 4,000 yards. He gets there, but I did have Carson under. Darren just mentioned injury prone. Very lucky to get under. I hit a parlay that paid like $600. Had Lamar under 3,400 yards. He had like 2,900 with 5 games to go, and then doesn't play. Pull that one out too. But I had Jalen Reagor of the Eagles under. I mean, this is 2 years in a row, by the way, that the Eagles have just totally screwed up the draft because This past year, obviously, they make that trade with Dallas, so it allows Dallas to get Parsons, which just sets the tone for the Cowboys all season.
Yeah, but they also did
And
it
their
to
defense.
screw the Giants. And
I know they did.
Giants
I
were
know they did.
terrible.
But still,
Yeah.
it still screws the whole division up. And the year before, I said, why would they could have taken they could have Justin Jefferson on this team, and they instead of taking him in the draft, they took Jalen Reagor, who had another disappointing season. So I had that one too, and that came in. But the one that I love the most, Trevor Lawrence under 4,200 yards, totally easy, beyond easy. And just who's ever getting 4,000 yards for the Jacksonville Jaguars ever? It's happened once in their whole history of the team.
I asked Coach Sicoli. He's coaching them next year, so it's his problem, not yours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at the quarterback unders. Probably not as. I mean, Cousins I think went under. Rodgers had wasn't he? I can't
Cousins
look.
went over.
He did. He was. It was a 4,000. Okay, so he's 4,000. All right, but Lawrence went under. I'm looking at the starters here. Goff probably went
Lamar
under.
Obviously under because of the injury.
Lamar under. Russ under. Baker under. Tua had to be under 2,600. Darnold 2,500 had to be under. Daniel Jones had to be under. Zach Wilson is probably under. All these guys at 2,300.
Darren Fitzpatrick, the best one of them all.
Oh, I guess he was a starter. Yeah.
I had Matt Ryan under 2. I had Tua under, and I had Tua under. They all went under.
Right.
Yeah, so Harry did well on his props. I think I actually was 5-3 on my props, but won more money than him because I had Watt for most sacks at 6-1. So that greatly helped with my prop bets there. So I think we all did okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I
we're
think
doing
we
all
all
right.
did okay on our props.
I think I picked Rams and Bills for a Super Bowl.
You and I both have that at 47-1, Sal.
Nice. I'll take that. I would switch if I had to today. I would switch it to Green Bay, Buffalo. But Harry, what did you? I don't know. You had the Browns.
I did have the Browns and I had the Rams, but I did make a bet the other day that was 29-1, and now on FanDuel is down to 22-1 for the Super Bowl. My new Super Bowl is Green Bay versus Cincinnati.
Of course, I knew you would take whoever replaced the Browns. Yeah. So 29-1. So you have 3 to win 87.
I love that we got the
baby.
I love that we got the text on that he put it in at 29-1 and then he's like it's 24-1 today.
This is where Harry just glosses
22-1,
over.
Brian.
He glosses over these things. It's like, he was,
Burrow,
so
baby.
They're out. They're losing to the Raiders first round.
Cleveland, Minnesota. All these teams that Harry was so on, it's just like it never happened.
I know.
Like it never happened. Iowa State in football. It's like it never happened.
I'll take the hit on the Florida State.
Come on,
I'll take
I wasn't
the hit
serious.
Minnesota, again, 8 of 9 losses by 8 points or less. I'll take the hit.
It doesn't matter.
Darren, I'll take the hit on the Cyclones.
The Cyclones. You better take
the Browns and the Vikings. All over them this year. All over them.